Classes resume at Buie State. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Well, after being closed for a week, classes are now back in session at Buie State University. The university canceled classes all last week following a shooting incident during its annual homecoming festivities. School officials said the time off would allow the entire campus to focus on healing. Since then, BSU has made several security enhancements, which include more police and security officers on campus and at entry gates. Also, the MARC train station entrance will now close at 5 p.m. Meantime, dozens of alumni welcome students back on campus today.
We are a state institution, so we are designed to be of service to the community and not just like up in an ivory tower. But that being said, our value proposition is also about safety, and it has been about safety for many, many years. So we as an administration, faculty and staff, what we're doing is that we are implementing measures to make sure that we're beefing up security.
Students were greeted with donuts. We had some resources for them to understand all of the support services that the university had here on campus, to include their writing lab, the math center, the counseling services, and the wellness center.
And students are encouraged to report any suspicious activity to campus police by activating one of the 19 blue light phones on campus. Well, reducing litter is part of a new median beautification program at Prince George's. The county kicked off the program this morning in the Woodlawn community of Hyattsville. It aims to revitalize medians by planting trees, shrubs, flowers, and ornamental grasses. The initiative comes as the county prepares for its biannual Growing Green with Pride Community Cleanup Day this weekend.
This new program is a key part of our overall efforts to beautify Prince George's County, cleaning up and improving the environment with key investments that help our community reflect the pride and care that we all share for it. Now, this kind of community involvement is so important to our county. Everyone who lives here is affected by litter, and we can all do our part to prevent it and to clean it up.
And Growing Green with Pride will feature thousands of volunteers in neighborhoods across the county this Saturday, October 21st. A fatal pedestrian crash in Fort Washington leaves a Chesapeake Beach man dead. Prince George's police responded to the intersection of Indian Head Highway and Old Fort Road for a pedestrian collision around 1 a.m. Sunday morning. 24-year-old Austin McCullum was pronounced deceased on the scene. A preliminary investigation revealed that the involved driver was traveling northbound on Indian Head Highway when he struck McCullum. The driver did remain on the scene. Anyone with information on the case is asked to call police at 301-731-4422. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Still to come, the library system and the University of Maryland team up to improve access to health care. We'll have details after the break. Stay with us.
Being blind doesn't always look how others may think.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down.
I know where to find support and where I can be seen.
Innovative research, educational resources, supportive community. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is leading the charge in finding treatments and cures for blinding diseases. fightingblindness.org.
Welcome back. Well, a military veteran and former television journalist is sharing some deeply personal and traumatic life experiences in hopes of helping others. Terrace Garnier is gearing up for the release of her new book called No Longer Silent. In the book, the Michigan native shares her story of being raped at the age of 5 by her mother's boyfriend for 2 years. She also details being sexually assaulted while serving in the Air Force. These painful experiences have made her a survivor, and now she is ready to pull back the curtain and reveal it all.
The book is called No Longer Silent, and it's my memoir. And the reason why I'm releasing it on Veterans Day is because that was the day that I was raped in the military back in 2013. So this year will be the 10-year anniversary. So I thought by releasing it on Veterans Day, I can make a happy memory for me and also help a lot of veterans who have been sexually assaulted while they were in the military, and also anyone else who's ever been assaulted, whether they're a child, whether they're an adult, a teenager, man, woman. So with my book, I really hope to encourage other people, let them know you are not alone. What happened to you is not your fault, and you can take your power back. There is healing.
No Longer Silent is set to be released this Veterans Day. We will have more from Terrace on her new book later this week. Well, nursing students are partnering with the Prince George's Library System to improve health equity. The initiative, called Talk Health, and the University of Maryland School of Nursing will provide much-needed health resources to the community. It will also provide critical clinical experience for the nursing students.
We're definitely working on blood pressure and helping people understand their blood pressure, understanding the importance of taking their medication every day. We're also trying to provide some vaccine information.
This week's Health Talk is on high cholesterol. So it'll be talking about, what the values mean when a blood test comes back and how people can exercise and eat better to help control their cholesterol level.
This is one way of removing some of those barriers that people face generally accessing health services.
And the nursing students will be at the Greenbelt Library on Mondays this fall. For more information, you can visit the website on your screen. Well, Maryland receives a C grade for its recent redistricting efforts, according to a new report released by Common Cause. The Coalition Hub for Advancing Redistricting and Grassroots Engagement, or CHARGE, their report card praised the efforts of a commission appointed by former Governor Larry Hogan. But it's critical of the General Assembly's role in the process, saying that the way lawmakers drew maps was highly partisan and lacked public transparency.
Maryland received a C on our report card in part because of the fight over the congressional map, in which the legislature passed clearly partisan districts that were struck down by Maryland State Court as violating the state constitution. I think Maryland is a textbook case of what happens when elected officials are in charge of the process. What gets lost in the process is of communities and input from the public, and what dominates is partisan control, fights between the parties over extracting as much political control over the legislature through districts as possible.
And Common Cause made a slew of recommendations, including that Maryland move to an independent commission to oversee the next redistricting effort. To view the full report, you can visit commoncause.org. Well, there are 3 candidates vying for a seat on the Buie City Council in District 2 this year. Lisa Martin is one of those candidates. She's an 18-year resident of the city and the mother of a Buie High School graduate. Martin, a Howard University graduate, says her son inspired her to run for public office.
I believe that with the city of Buie, which is the largest city in Prince George's County, we only have 67 full-time police officers with residents that are over 58,000, and we're growing rapidly. I believe that we need to better utilize our police department to be able to provide safety for all of our citizens. The second thing is community resources. Our families are suffering, our youths are suffering, and we need more accessible and relevant mental health and substance abuse issues to address those things that we're facing out in the community. And then we need to be able to have a more inclusive and diverse community.
And the Buie City election is scheduled for November 7th. Well, the Montgomery County School Board recently released a redacted report on the controversial promotion of a former Paint Branch High School principal. His name is Joel Beitelman. Now, Beitelman was the subject of numerous complaints of sexual harassment dating back to 2017. Still, he received a promotion and a pay increase. Montgomery County Council member Will Jawando says the report shows that there were multiple failures in the process.
There were multiple failures here, not only in the process, but in the people who implemented a failed and flawed process. So people need to get fired, and you heard the superintendent say that that is happening. There's some that have already been let go or in process, and they're going to need to be really large-scale systems change in how this information, how people make their complaints, how they're investigated, and what is done with the information. And that's going to have to play out over the next several months. The OIG, the Office of Inspector General for Montgomery County, is obviously looking into this as well. They'll have additional recommendations. But this is a large failure, and people were hurt in the process.
And Jawanda says that once the OIG releases its investigative findings, he will schedule a public meeting. Governor Wes Moore announces $69 million in federal funding for 2 new programs to help Marylanders access affordable high-speed internet. The 2 programs, Home Stretch for public housing and Home Stretch for difficult-to-serve properties, are expected to provide internet access to an estimated 15,000 underserved Maryland households. Funding is coming from the American Rescue Plan Coronavirus Capital Projects Fund. And coming up on CTV News after the break, the Monday Sports Page Report. Stay with us.
Hey, sports fans, are coming up soon. A recap of the UMD football game versus Illinois that was played over the weekend, and also Commanders head coach Ron Rivera gives his thoughts on the team's performance against the Atlanta Falcons. Stay tuned.
Jessica, we need to leave right now. I need to get something. Dance recitals are so boring. There's a meeting no one knows. Waiting to be set
So
free.
what's the empty suitcase for?
The grand prize trophy.
Duh.
Confidence. Pass it on. I was born to be somebody.
Okay, everybody, it's time for your Monday Sports Page. We'll start with some college football news. The UMD football squad took the field over the weekend against Illinois for homecoming, and the Terps had multiple highlights during the matchup. Starting with the first half, running back Roman Hemby made a nice catch that went for 11 yards while evading multiple Illinois defenders in the process. Plays like the Hemby catch allowed the Terps to get into scoring position, and they took advantage by punching one in thanks to a touchdown pass caught by Sean Greeley. Maryland would get another opportunity to score and didn't waste it as quarterback Talia Tagovailoa threw a 27-yard touchdown pass to receiver Caden Prather. And Maryland would go into halftime tied with Illinois at 14. Switching to some second half action, Terps wide receiver Tyrese Chambers made a clutch grab for 11 yards on 4th down for the Terps. And this eventually led to this touchdown run by running back Antoine Littleton II to give the Terps their 3rd touchdown of the day. After getting the ball back, Maryland then kicked and made a field goal to tie the game at 24. Illinois then kicked a field goal of their own, making the final score of the game 27-24. Maryland will face off next against Northwestern on October 28th. Moving on to professional football, the Washington Commanders bounced back and were able to get a win versus the Atlanta Falcons yesterday. And despite this, head coach Ron Rivera believes their performance could have been better.
I think one of the things that really stood out more so than anything else was we protected the football and we took the football away. That gave us the opportunity more so than anything else. Some things that we still got to continue to work on and improve, some of the details. We weren't as good as we needed to be. We did our job, but we got to pay even more attention to the details because we almost got ourselves in trouble.
And wrapping up sports, the Baltimore Orioles season ended recently after being swept by the Texas Rangers. After winning 101 games and making the postseason, General Manager Mike Elias is driven to field an even better team next year.
I want to reflect on 2023, promise everybody and the fans that we're keeping our foot on the gas pedal for keeping Baltimore baseball great and having an even better season next year, and especially in the postseason, if to whatever degree we can control that. And there's a lot that goes into it, and we have an amazing farm system, and there's a lot of ways that benefits you. So it's a good thing. We're going to do our jobs this winter.
And that is your Monday Sports Page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon, and that wraps up our CTV News Update. I'm Patricia Vallone. Have a great night.